Gonna do a little Soulogy update with our most beloved sister, Hung Nguyen. Yeah, she is the little ET on my right shoulder, tapping me all the time. Co-creating from the chaos. It's nice to hear that. I hadn't heard that in a long time.
That's
OG Soulogy.
OG.
Old school. Like this part. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. All right. Let's go back over here and see what we got going on. What do I need to do? Put it here and turn on comments. All right. We got 21 people in the house.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are impromptu, just how Todd likes to do it.
This was your idea, it wasn't mine.
It was impromptu, though.
Yeah. You know, I'm all for it. I'm all for the
Yeah.
impromptu.
So I'm going to give you the background of the impromptu. So we are discussing Soulogy Fest 2022, the I Am Soul tour. And if you don't know, well, it's a tour, isn't it?
It's a pit stop.
Well, wow. You're in Sedona. You seem to be creating caravans en route to Arkansas.
Hey, by whatever means necessary, we're going to get people there.
Right. So I'm in the background working on the operations side, just the financial planning and all the boring stuff, like making sure that everyone, arrives where they should be, have their tickets, just the really boring stuff. And Todd is the front man of the creative process and the programming and the direction, of course, because it's your baby, for Soulogy Fest. And one of the things is we do weekly meetings. We do touch base to make sure that things kind of go as planned. So today's weekly meeting became a rant fest of the cumulative energies that is present that Todd harnesses so well. And so we thought we'd fine tune it a little bit. So when Soulogy Fest 2021 started, we did it as a kind of a side hustle to see if we can do it. It was an exploratory option, another creative expression of what Soulogy is as a community. And then it kind of grew from there. 2022, everyone has grown a little bit more, including Todd, thank God. And one of the things that has come out of the expansion is the Soulogy Fest 2022 is going to have a different spin to it. The spin is such a high velocity toroidal field that it's like a hurricane, tornado force, out of control. So if you are not the type of person that feels comfortable with that energy, it can come across very unsettling and uncomfortable, which I totally appreciate because that's just how Mr. Medina operates. So I'm here today to give you another side to the basically self-inflicted toroidal field that Todd has created around himself. So it looks pretty chaotic from the exterior. This is not your
I love this. This is awesome.
I want to let you know it is intentionally started from the heart space. And so one of the things that I feel that Todd does exceptionally well is break down programs and dysfunctionality and structures that no longer work. Not to say the festival program is all dysfunctional. There are some beautiful aspects of it that will be integrated for Soulogy Fest 2022, but Todd is reworking the energies around it. So reworking the energies around it, we kind of landed on, and this is not the chaos part. This is the part where it's highly intuitive and zero in for accuracy and also for support. So the Soulogy community, in a nutshell, really is a home for everyone. So one of the things we talked about today was social isolation with our community when it comes to mainstream communities. Like we're kind of a sect of a mainstream community. A lot of people are feeling socially isolated where they don't have in-person support of another soul helping them along their journey. The other thing that's missing that I think that you do exceptionally well with your community is providing an avenue for creative expressions where it feels safe. And it's like creative expressions in the non-traditional form that people don't always appreciate. So we talk a lot about, in our world, it's pretty normal. So light language, anything like that. What do you call it? Poetry rap? I don't know what you call that. Soul rap?
Some people call it conscious rap. I call it soul speak.
Okay, sure. So just different
Yeah,
versions.
sure.
Different
Okay.
versions of how you express yourself. So I'm here today to basically say, for those of you that don't normally operate in chaos, to really come out of your comfort zone. And if you have been holding back on attending Soulogy Fest because it looks like it's like, maybe I've had comments saying, is this even happening? There's no or is this going to be just a shitstorm? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be all of those things. It's whatever you want it to be. But the most important thing about the festival is your connection and ability to meet other people. It's a huge networking event, and this is where you can create the next chapter of support for yourself. So that's really the whole thing of Soulogy Fest, is the community aspect of it. That I feel like a lot of people, unless you had an event like this, you don't put that as a priority in your life to do. You kind of do this weird thing. Like a lot of us do this weird thing is like, if it organically happens, it happens. Sick of that bullshit. Like, it's not going to organically happen. You have to put in the intention and effort to move yourself physically to make it happen. So that's what.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. That's
That's
absolutely relevant. Okay. And it's also relevant to take stock in where we are in this moment on this earth. Yeah. If this isn't your thing, then I understand, but it's my thing. And when I say my thing, I mean what we all have in common. Okay. So there's a lot of people doing grid work and have been for many years. There's people that are working with code and the galactics and all kinds of stuff, angelic realms.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many facets to this community.
Yeah.
And it's the diversity of it is amazing. The fact that people come in with so many different perspectives and life stories is amazing. The tapestry, so each person's going to come in with your own unique strand. And the tapestry that's going to be woven at Soulogy Fest requires your strand to be woven in it. And that can't happen if you just sit on your ass observing. Like, I can't stand that. You have no idea.
Okay. So let me just, that was a perfect segue. So this is what's happening. What's happening is we are receiving information and living that information at the same time. Not all the time, but it's happening. It's happening to me. It's happening to other people. It thrives on an openness, and it thrives on no judgment and the allowance of people to be expressing themselves in what I'm calling a new affection. All right? Now, I'm living and breathing this and trying to stay up with this like everybody else every day, all day long, and align my purposes and all that. But I see this as a small mirror of what's occurring on the earth. I'm very happy with what the people that have signed up to come so far. I know based on last year that we're going to do very well in terms of attendance. But I do think there's going to be a lot of surprises on the way. Just as a couple of examples, having some friends of ours come in on a 20 by 20 screen. The live stream itself is going to be a consciousness all of its own. It's going to have its own programming. Of course, it's going to have the stage. I mean, this is not something that's not well thought out. And somehow, magically, we are surrounded by, for example, 3 professional bona fide sound recording light engineers. Not to mention many other people that are coming together organically. But you're right about that organic thing, because as our sister said over there, you got to show up. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
There is an organic vibe, true, that we have to try to flow with. But so yeah, this is really pretty much the spirit of it. I see this, we see this as an expansion, an addition. You know, Soulogy is all about adding frequencies to an ever-expanding vibration, and that's what we're all doing. So we're just manifesting, or creating is a better word, what we've received all these years. And I'm convinced, and I may be crazy, but I think we've got nothing but good things coming. I know people, even people that come on here that have a lot of credibility, say we're going to go through some tough times. I don't really agree with that. I think this can be whatever we want it to be in the moment, and they come out of nowhere. And they don't come from conventional situations. They probably come from more unconventional situations than anything. So we're just trying to be open. And as long as we're talking about this, let's talk about accommodations. Organically and collaboratively, we've had some things come into play. So I haven't put out the final stuff on accommodations, but there's obviously people who found hotels in Clarksville and in Van Buren, and also in Ozark itself. It's got a nice place. It's double occupancy, $75 a night. We've got some rooms kind of on hold. I got to seal those deals in the next few days. But one friend of ours, for example, there's no lodge space on the property itself, but on the mountain there is. One called, I think, Pigtail Lodge. But one of our friends, and I'm going to talk to her and set some parameters, she's offered some space there about 2 miles away. So there's some things materializing. And, of course, there's the RV campground and the regular campground. And I guess, as I understand it, there's also a rustic campground. I'm not a camper, so I don't really know what the difference is.
They call it primitive sites.
Primitive.
And full hookups.
Okay.
So the difference is, there's no sewer on site. So if you have a trailer or an RV, there's electrical and there's water hookups. And then the primitive sites is what they call dry camping, because I am a camper. And it's just bare land. So there's tons of those sites available. But
$8 a night. $8 a night.
Yeah. So,
and 29 a night on RVs. What were you just talking about?
I wasn't talking about it. You were talking about it. Accommodations. You have a friend that has
Yeah. So, I mean, and I've had some people message me, and they just went straight to the different hotels. And I'm also, people are forming caravans. There's going to be one coming out of the Arizona area. I know there's been some interest in New Mexico, up in the northwestern U.S. We've got somebody coming from Vancouver, besides you. But Ernestine Day.
Oh, yes.
There's a couple other people I can't recall. One's Delia. There's some others over there. There's just some stuff that's coming together that's really cool. I think artistically, and when I say artistically, I feel like that's a limiting type of statement. It's not about that. What I'm witnessing and what I'm experiencing within myself, which is not just here, and I love Morgan always says anything that ever happens, she goes, we're not the only ones. It's happening everywhere, or it's happening in many places. And that's seeing people really open up their heart. It's crazy. It's way beyond fluffy love and light shit. And it's way beyond, what our concept of love is. It's actually, witnessing creation. It's incredible. So there's something about that going on the earth. And I think that's going to be reflected in this, because when we get right down to it, part of what's going to be injected into this is the story of what's happening. And thank you for coming on and helping to explain this when you do. But it's Todd didn't plan on coming to Sedona. Todd was told to come to Sedona. Todd was forced to come to Sedona. And what happens? All of a sudden, things start happening. So what do? You just start creating, and you start doing the best you can, and then other people start doing it, and then people online are picking it up, and it's crazy. It's beautiful. And so my story might go like this. It might go that we leave here at the end of the month after doing some more shows here. We got one tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern. It'll be really cool, something you've never seen before. And maybe I go back and hit 3 or 4 locations closer to Arkansas. We do some shows and get some more momentum going there. We've picked up some musicians, some artists, some visual artists have contacted me. We've got the first 3 vendors of 10 have accepted the vendor package, which is $555, a 10 by 10 tent, electrical. $555, you get 2 admissions, so there's a $111 discount there, really technically. But we figure any vendor is going to need someone to help them. Plus, you get 2 20-minute spots on the stage, which also means a live stream. So if you're a vendor that has, product or offering that you can do virtually, then it's a perfect spot for you if you can make it, and then also to experience the festival itself. I just know there's going to be some incredible things, and I say this because of, some of this I reported, live from the road and whatever. But yeah, I'm listening to everything that's coming my way. I'm open to everything coming my way. I think that's what's happening to all of us, and it may look like something you've never seen before, but I think that's what we're all about to get into. Something we've never seen before, and that includes every concept of the highest form of light, and unfortunately our fears.
And I think one of the core values of Soulogy is that, let's go back to the fluffy love and life stuff, because that also triggers the hell out of me. Just so you know, I'm not a hugger, so if you come to Soulogy Fest, don't come near me. Things about
I'm going to get some hugs from you. I'll be hugging you the whole week. You're going to be like, get the hell away from me.
Yeah. So the spiritual community is, part of it is bypassing by trying to be this plastic version of positivity, right? And what I love about the Soulogy community, and because it's reflected of you and you're part of your creation, is understanding the evolution of the soul requires you to feel the full spectrum of emotions present, and to feel it. And when sometimes you get stuck in the feelings, like you really go through it and then you're stuck and it becomes like a stagnant form of energy. If you are, and nobody talks about it, right? People keep talking about their experiences with like fairies and dragons, but no one talks about like that really deep, dark area where you feel so isolated, even though you are surrounded by people, but you feel isolated. Part of that evolution of your soul journey is to basically dig deep and get through that, not because you want to survive, but to get through that so you can thrive. Part of that is like the elasticity, where you feel like you're holding back and you're stepping back into regression, but it's actually building momentum to propel you forward. So this is the access point for you. You will meet a lot of souls without even communicating your sad story, because part of Soulogy Fest is celebrating where we have been and where we can go, but you don't need to communicate all of that. Everybody has trauma stories about it. Just by being in the presence of someone else who has beautifully gone through that elastic formation of regression to progression, you're going to be coded with and inspired to move yourself forward so you can live and fill your time with meaningful moments, right? And people don't want to spend their time just wasting or dulling their senses. People really want to create meaningful experiences where they can take it away, where it has fulfillment. It's not just like a numbing process. So the Soulogy Fest will put you in a concentration, and it's highly I've been in situations where you're in the same kind of vessel as everyone else, and just by default, the energy forces all of that bullshit. It's like having a zit. You know the zits that aren't
Jesus Christ
yet.
Oh my God, you're funny. We need to have a Soulogy comic night.
Yes, an analogy. It's just like you need that pressure for it to pop so you can heal. Otherwise, that zit is still there. That is the access point of Soulogy Fest. That's kind of where.
Okay, this is gold. This is gold. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We did a show today, an open mic type show. This was what the energy was. There was Shirley, Delia, Eric, Casey, Daniel. There was like Amethyst. There was 7 or 8 people. We had a discussion like we've never had on Soulogy. And it's not because of anything more, in my opinion, than what you're tapping into and talking about, because it's real. It's not a sales pitch. We talked about this stuff. It was like a show we'd never done before. It was a conversation we'd never done before. You know, Shirley talked about her depression and her suicidal thoughts. We talked about, because all of a sudden we found there was 4 guys sitting here all of a sudden. We're like, what are we all doing here? Hey, do you guys feel like there's been a shift in the masculine energy? Yes, let me tell you what's happened. Then we started talking about trust. And nobody has the fucking answer. That's the whole point. Nobody has the answer, but I can promise you one thing. It's nothing we've come from. So what you're describing to me is what I couldn't explain to you and never thought I could, you know, but it's what moves me every day. It's what's bringing me to tears every day, because I see the reverence of what's happening for all of us as soon as we shut the fuck up, get out of the way, and pull our head out of our ass. So I thought you were crude. But no, I know that's hard language, and that's Todd, and sometimes I slip into it. But, you know, this is what we're talking about living. Ascension is living. Ascension is taking that step, not letting circumstances or consequences stagnate you. And this is all we're doing. I want to be with Morgan Lee right now, anywhere. I don't care if it was in the pits of hell. All right? I'd protect her ass. I'm a bad mo. But I can't be. Now, this is just one person's circumstance. Everyone has. I'm getting messages from people. I'm getting a beautiful message from a lady 4 hours away in Kansas City that's basically handicapped to a pretty great degree that wants to come. I don't want to be a hindrance. You know what? I'm going to find a way for her to come.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know anything else to do but blow my heart wide open. And I'm not saying this for myself. I'm saying this because of what you're describing, what you're tapping into. What is this actually going to be? This is going to be that space of the unknown where we say, hey, man, I'm bare naked to the soul as much as I can be. Or can I tell you something? Or can I listen to you? Or, hey, you know, I haven't played the guitar in 10 years. I came in here last night and played a song. I don't even know what the fuck happened. But, you know, these things have happened at the Soulogy things before. Even the ones that weren't Soulogy Fest, that were just Soulogy gatherings. We pull in town, put up a sign, people come, and amazing things happen. And you're right. You're right, Hung. And you really articulated that extremely well. Because it's not a pitch. It's the real thing.
Not. And that's the other thing. And a lot of people feel like Soulogy Fest should be like I'm not going to say old and new, because I feel like that's incorrect too. I think the mainstream modeling of festivals is a top-down communication presentation of
right.
Entertainment, right? This is, yes, there will be sexy bits where Todd will jump on his guitar.
Yeah, I'm not jumping on the guitar. That was a one-off, man. I'm not doing that again.
There'll be some small sexy moments that are a little bit more polished, but what you are really here for is actually,
it's going to blow your mind. You're even going to go, God, you're right.
Rich. It is the meeting of souls that have been through hell and back and are inspired to do it all over again. And along the way, you're going to make friends that like the trip of hell and back and doing it all over again. So it's those moments. And the biggest thing is talking about the darker spectrum of emotion that no one talks about. Because once you talk about that, you are basically empowering the fact that we are human and we are here to suffer, to have joy, to sit in the mundane, to be bored, to all of it. All of it is valid. But sometimes we are so isolated that we don't have the evaluation at each of those human experiences. So coming to Soulogy Fest, that's what's going to happen is that you, first and foremost, you are going to be present amongst other frequencies that are similar to yours. And what I use this analogy a lot because I feel like the collective right now is, and I think I shared this with you before, is I use the analogy of Humpty Dumpty. So you know how we create society, the collective has built up this wall, right? And we think it's magnificent. We think it's like Rome, it's the seventh heaven of wonder. And we work our ass off to get to that point of that wall. And you get to the point of the wall, and I have been there. And you look out at the horizon and you're like, what the fuck? This is so underrated. It's not what you expected. And then, so then you question all of the energy that you had invested up until that moment of climbing up that wall, building that wall, getting to that top, and realizing there is nothing unfulfilled, like nothing fulfilling for you at the top. So out of despair, now this is the point of access for healing, is you jump off the wall. You actually jump off the wall. No one has pushed you. You just decided to jump off the
Uh,
wall because it wasn't worth it. And you break into a million pieces. This is where society is right now.
yeah,
And what people are doing right now is they're looking down at all the pieces and trying to figure out what is next.
right.
And this, I promise you, this is what's next. You're going to look down. You're going to force yourself to look down at all of the chaos. You're going to tune in to your highest self, and you're going to pick up all the beautiful pieces that you loved of your former aspect. You're also going to pick up all the pieces that you love from other people's broken pieces. And then you're going to recreate that, a new, different version of yourself that you love. Because what's going to happen is you're going to pick up all the pieces that you love. All the pieces that you don't love, you can leave that for someone else to pick up if you'd like. I promise you.
I ain't
someone
picking those up again.
I know that someone out there loves those pieces. That's the beautiful.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
Just because
Very
you
true.
have no value for it, someone else does.
Yeah, I met a
And
guy like
that's-
that a couple of days ago at the convenience
Yeah,
store.
that's the co-creation of Soulogy Fest, is
Yeah.
that you have access to.
It's a giant merge. It's a giant
Yeah,
merge.
exactly.
That's what it is. And just to give a little bit of clarification as much as we can as we co-create and collaborate from the chaos. We will have, we will have some streaming coming in that's specific to the event and to the community by people that are a part of this community. Some of those will be more well-known names, and some might not be. But that we feel that they're part of this community. So I'm not going to mention any names right now because I'm still putting it together. But I've got confirmation from 5. Yeah, it's just going to be a mix. It's a mix. I mean, and we'll get the schedule. It'll be getting filled out more and more. But we've got like commitments from Sandra Mathis from Georgia. She's coming in as a vendor. Jamie Williams from Hot Springs, Arkansas. They've both been on the show. They've both done their own productions. I mean, it's going to be what you're saying. And I will say this too. I can say this 100%. You're going to see some of the most quality, inspirational expressions in terms of not just testimonies from people. We've had that happen every time we've ever gotten together, but also artistically. It's an amazing thing to sit around with people and nobody has ever rehearsed anything. Nobody's ever sung, over here or this or that or whatever. And they just start playing and something happens. This is the energy I think that you're talking about. This is to me, it's like that part of us that is totally complete and whole. It's like, okay, I'm going to be in this game now. Let me pick up the pieces I want. Right?
Yeah.
I get that I am, in the body, I'm an avatar, whatever. So this is the energy. It's not really a noun to me. It's Soulogy is and whatever that name is. There's other names for it, but it's an energy. It's actually, to me, it's that point of expression, of inspiration of what it is, which is like the deepest love and reverence for it that made me and me. Which is all the same thing. Here we go. Something like that. I love when you do that to me. Everyone, I just got to tell you, I absolutely love Hung. She's a very dear friend to me. And I really appreciate it every time she comes on here because, yeah, you're the shit dizzle. Mo Frizzle.
So we said we wouldn't make this super long, and it's just gonna be short and sweet.
Yeah.
But the whole point of it is we'd love to see anyone that has been sitting on that wall and has been disappointed with what you see on the wall to come out. But the whole point is you need to make the effort to come out. It's not going to organically happen for you.
Yeah.
You just need to be there, and then the organic parts happen when you're there, and that's the most important part.
Yeah,
That's the key.
that's right. See,
Yeah,
this is crazy because this is what's happening, like with the lady in Kansas City, and the couple of two people or three people in this area in the Southwest, and I think there's another. Oh, there's another crew coming from the Northeast that's in a van. People are actually saying to me, like the lady with the cabin, I'm coming. I found this place. I want to put this on the table. I can get another whatever 7 people, 2 miles away in a cabin.
yeah, yeah.
So like, and then a friend of mine who's coming lives near the lady that's handicapped, and I have a feeling that connection's going to be made. But yeah. So what you're talking about, that's what I was talking about. When I got to Sedona, I started getting this immediately for like 2.5 days, this intel of you're receiving as you're doing it. Can you dig it? Like, can you see it? Can you feel it? And I'm like, yeah, I
That's
actually.
the energy. That's the energy of the chaos, right? So there's
Hmm.
two different forms of energy that right now, the one that I feel like there's the one that's happening is the instantaneous. Like you can't take that energy and stockpile it for a rainy day.
No,
You
you
need
have
to
to.
work with it
You have
right
to
away.
jump right in. You have to jump right
You need
in.
to work with it right away if you
Yeah.
want to access it. But that point of access is so powerful. Like it can scare the crap out of you. And I know a lot of people that are watching this, they probably are scared. They for whatever reason, and they don't feel comfortable, and they're misreading that because the energy of chaos immediately confronts you to that level.
And
But what you need to see behind that is the energy of chaos, especially with Todd Medina, is heart driven. It's not
yeah.
like it's one of those ones where it's in the now, which doesn't work with a lot of people. And in the now means that
That's what we're
everything.
changing. We're changing. That's what we're doing. And not to be confused. Chaos, not to be confused with fear.
Right, right. Chaos energy basically comes in with no structure. It is up to the user or the master of energy to access it. And there's different access points for it. The biggest access point is through the heart, right? So
Yeah.
when you go through the heart, you will have faith, but however experience lands for you was meant for you, even though you didn't want it to begin with. If you had the overview that
It's
we're all limited
yeah.
beings, you will
It's
appreciate the nature of it, but because the chaos is right here, you're not going to be able to appreciate the width band of it.
yeah. Yeah. This is I think what's getting really loud is the mind, and it's becoming very uncomfortable. And we all have our moments, I guess, but that's what it feels like to me. It's like you can't do that. What about this? What about that? Those things I'm just disassociating. I mean, I'm owning them, that I'm hearing them, and I'm not like saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." But there's something about this energy that you do such a great job of describing. This isn't just about Soulogy Fest. This is actually what's happening real time, and that's my
It
point.
is. Yeah.
It's another representation in the physical of what I was telling you about coming here. Like, hey, literally being told 3 or 4 times, you're getting the information as you're living it. Do you dig it? I mean, that's just my little spin, but it's more like, can you feel it? Can you stay there? And it's there. It's there. I'm not saying I'm there all the time, but a lot of the time. And what I notice is it's not typical, such as having to lay down and take a nap at any time. Some other things that have happened to us during these last few months, things that don't make sense, things that come up to be cleared, or running in to see somebody, or going to see an old relative you hadn't seen in a long time out of nowhere, or whatever, getting moved. But yeah, I feel like that we're really, what you really have articulated so well, we can conclude, is that this is, we feel we're in alignment, literally doing grid work, creating collaboratively new code that has never been created because you have to live it to do it. And that Soulogy Fest, Soulogy Network, Soulogy One Studios everyone that makes up this community, which is even people that aren't technically in the community, everyone's, on the same trajectory, and we feel like we're aligning with that. Giggle.
And it will be fun. To end it all, it will be fun, right? That's the whole point of
absolutely, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it will be fun. If nothing else, that's basically what
we are going to.
Cheap entertainment and fun.
Look, I pulled so many rabbits out in the last 2 weeks last year. People don't know, and it came together a lot like this, but this is actually a different animal because there was components of existing festival template within it, but it was still our style. It was still our way, the way we constructed it, leaving half of it open for people that attend and for spontaneous things and not having gaps, but to eat. Always having something going on, and then also other things going on, such as we're going to do here. Serena's going to do yoga. Someone I can't remember her name is going to do something else. I mean, there'll be different things. And like Hung said, beneath it all is what she's talking about and what she's been talking about on this show. So, yeah, it's going to be a blast. Yeah. I might even do my Alice Cooper routine.
We can do a Q&A. Did anyone have any questions about anything that we can answer that maybe wasn't communicated articulately before? Through the chaos.
Through the chaos.
Through the chaos. See the heart through the chaos. That should be.
Yeah, you're right about that though. It really is that. It's that heart. And I know there's some major stuff going on with the heart. Even you, I mean, you fight it, and you can't even hide your heart. And but yeah, there was like something really big happened, and it really exploded in the throat chakra. And I know Morgan wrote about it a lot, and it came up in her groups, and I saw a lot of people writing about it. And I see that happening, like sitting down with these people. Like this girl came in, she just came in, like, what are you doing here? I don't know. I've been called over here for 4 days, and finally I was doing the meditation, and Ty popped in, who she'd only met once, come over to this studio. And like, then next thing you know, we're sitting down. What are we doing? I don't know. Somebody start playing something. Boom, here we go. That's not as limited as it sounds. That's energy. That's the physical energy occurring. Everybody going, okay, nobody's leading. Everybody just has an equal seat, and let's just see what happens. And it's crazy because there's no direction. Yet it comes out, and it's, and that's happening everywhere. That type of energy is happening everywhere. And I think this is what we're doing. I know this is what we're doing. No questions?
No questions. It's perfectly clear. Clear as mud.
Well, that's right. That's where the lotus grows, baby. We're all doing this for the Mother Goddess. I will say that.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this because this is the next evolution of the collective?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say it all becomes the same thing. I mean, it's the inspiration and the expression all at one time, which I guess is another way of saying the download, because the download is the inspiration, just like the download I got. I said you're getting it and doing it at the same time, and it can be done, and it's available. So we're tapped in. Man, if I didn't have you, I don't know what I'd do. Thank you. And if I don't talk to you, have a great. And I'll take care of the hotel thing, and have a great vacation with your family.
I will. All right.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. I'll see you at Soulogy Fest.
I'm going to hug you every day over there.
I'm going to wear a huge bubble thing.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
All right. See you. Bye.